Coach, your first place. I know it doesn't mean much, but when you look at the paper, does that at least reflect that you guys had a good?
I'm sorry, kid. It's so early as far as the season's concerned. You know, we're still working on a lot of stuff, trying to find out who we are, trying to get our identity, and the number one thing is consistency. You know, that's one thing you're working on now more so than the standings. It's, you know, until we get to about 25 games into the season, now you can really start looking maybe 15 into, okay, now this is who they are. This is who a team is. You know, you're going to tell me San Antonio, you look at their record right now, you're going to tell me they're not going to be there and win the money. So right now it's too early. I like the way we're playing offensively. We're much better defensively than we were a week ago, and that's our goal, is to continue to get better, to continue to keep our nose to the grind and keep our work in.
Yeah, could you have seen more from your group in those last two games? Because pretty much all the things you called them out about, you know, they tried to address.
It's hard to tell, but I tell you what, the Washington game, I was impressed. Last night's game was one of those disciplined games that you got to be disciplined to come out and have the focus and effort for 48 minutes that you're looking for, that you need to win in this league. And we had it. We had the focus, and that was something that was very good. The Washington game, I thought we set the tone defensively the way we need to and that we have in the past, and I thought that's when our growth really came back on a consistent level defensively. We've shown it in spurts in the Miami game and Orlando game down there in a couple of quarters, and a couple of quarters in the Boston game, but we haven't done it for extended periods of time the way we did in the Washington game, and that's what we got to do.
Is tomorrow one of those games as well?
No, believe me, Orlando is playing much better. They won 2 in a row until last night. They played Brooklyn tough till Joe Johnson took over at the end of the game last night. So they're more advanced, and they're at a different level as far as different part of their program where they're growing to right now, more so than Philly.
They played you tough last week too.
They did. They really did. And so again, our defense was nowhere near. They got what they wanted offensively. Peyton got where he needed to go in the paint. Fournier found shots and got where he needed to go. So it's one of those things where we gotta take that as a challenge. And Vucevic is a handful down low. So we've got to take those individual matchups as a challenge on the defensive end.
What are your initial impressions of Peyton? You've seen him up close for one full game. I'm sure you've watched a lot of film on him.
Speed, just natural speed as far as him going where he needs to go with the basketball. You know, still learning the game as an NBA player, but just a natural-born speedster, and that's the type of kid that's hard to guard. Because right now he doesn't probably have an idea where he wants to go, and definitely the defense doesn't, but he has God-given speed. And once he harnesses that and learns how to use it, you know, which he's doing on a game-to-game, you know, they're throwing him out there in the fire, and he's learning how to use that speed.
From their young player to your young player, Terrence Ross, 17 points. What did you see that he did differently or that allowed him to be more successful?
He got it going offensively. I mean, he did a good job of getting his 3-ball into the game and finding the openings. Guys did a good job of finding him in our half-court sets. You know, and he needed to see the ball go through the bucket, and he's been shooting the ball well. He started out like guns of fire against Washington. That helped his confidence. So it's about his confidence in his 3-ball and his shooting. He needs to continue with his defensive focus, because that's a big part of what he brings to that first unit, is that stopper's mentality. And he's got to make sure he maintains that level of defense for that first unit.
How does a young guy keep his confidence up when the ball's not going in? Are there other things you'd like to see him do, or what's the call there?
Play defense. I mean, that's the one thing you can do if the ball's not falling in. Defense, get back in transition. Rebound is another thing that you can do. You can go in there and help. Our bigs are doing a good job now of coming, trying to protect the rim. Our guards got to come back now and what we call crack down or sandwich to help the bigs, because they're doing their job. So that's a big part of what guards can do if their shot's not falling, is defend and rebound.
What is it about Lou's makeup that has made him so good at the end of quarters throughout his career?
That's just who he is. I mean, that's just, he's cool under pressure. He can get his own shot at most times, you know, without screens, without help. So that's why he looks cute, because he doesn't need to be in a timing mode, waiting for a screen or waiting for spacing. You know, he has that ability to do that. So, but he's had a history of doing that. He did it in Philly. Really didn't have a chance to do it in Atlanta because of injuries. But we have all the confidence in the world at the end of the quarter when the clock is going down that he's going to get a good shot.
Does it make it easier for him to come to a new team when he's so comfortable knowing what his role is? He's a veteran, knows.
He should. You know, he's a veteran. He knows what his role is. He knows who he is. You know, a lot of stuff we do fits him perfectly within our offensive system. Defensively, he's been a pleasant surprise because he's been doing a good job of keeping this guy in front of him and being where he's supposed to be on the rotations. So he's done an excellent job with that. So that's been the biggest plus that I've seen. We all knew he could score, but I didn't know he had the defensive, he probably knew it, nobody else knew it, defensive ability to keep guys in front of him, and he's done a solid job defensively.
DeMar and Kyle draw a lot of fouls on the perimeter with their shot fakes. He does it a bit differently. How does he do it?
Well, I don't want to tell all of his secrets, but he does a good job of drawing contact, initiating contact with his body, and I think defensive players look at him as, you know, slender and slight and can take advantage of him, but he uses that against him most of the time. So he has his tricks, and that's a veteran plays that he makes in those situations.
Is there anybody else he reminds you of in that regard, just sort of using the angles? Or
Iverson was great at it. You know, he did it with his speed a little bit more than nuances, but he comes to mind of drawing that contact and finishing the play at the same time where Lou does. So, but Lou has learned it well and has a good. And again, they're legitimate fouls. It's not like he's tricking the referees. You know, he's doing a good job of getting contact and using the defense's speed against them.
Dwane, so much through camp was about the depth of this roster. How have you seen it so far through the opening 7 games and the way that you've been able to kind of use different lineups and go to different guys?
It's been good. It's been solid. There's been different situations for different people. James has played his role very well as a defensive, I wouldn't say use the word stopper, but defensive player against multiple positions, point, 2, 3, 4. So he's done a good job with that. Lou has come in and done his job of scoring and defending. Gravis has done his job of coming in and kind of running the second unit. So they've played him well. You know, knock on wood, we haven't had, you know, a rash of injuries, but so we've kind of kept both units kind of intact, and the rotations is finding itself in a good way. But again, it's a long season.
Last couple of games, you've been able to go with the 3 guards together as well.
Yeah, because of their matchups and them playing small guards, and James helps because he can guard a lot of 2s and 3s and some 1s. You know, he jumped on Roten a little bit last night, so he has the ability to guard 4 positions. That helps as far as you know, the rotations, as far as if we need a defensive stopper or if we have smaller guards in the lineup.